Welcome to the quarter-final stage of this year's World Speedway Championship, where the best of Australians, New Zealanders, Americans and Brits compete for 9 places. And right now, here's one of the stars, British champion Gary Havelock.
Gary Havelock, reigning British champion, you're on your home track today. How much of an advantage is that going to be for you?
Well, I don't think it'll be as much advantage as everybody thinks, because you know, the calibre of riders that were here today, you know, they all ride this track regular, and you know, they're such good riders that I don't think it's going to make all that much of a difference. But having said that, you never know.
Only 9 riders going through to the next stage. It's going to be very tough, this one.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be very hard. You know, these rounds get harder and harder as you get through, and you know, I'm just going to be going out there and giving it everything I've got, and see what I can do.
Sam, the Americans come in today, the toughest stage so far for the World Championship qualifiers. How do you see today's meeting going?
Hopefully one step better than last time. Nah, it's going good. I hope so. You know, the track looks good.
Let's get some confidence today. Well, it's all in the day, and you know,
The rain's just starting to come. I can feel it now. But it's all in the day, and we just got to go out there and make 5 good starts. And the important thing is qualifying. If you get through the first 3 or 4 races and you got a chance to clinch the title, then you go for it.
Coming into heat number 1, they each have 5 starts. You score 3 points for a win, 2 for a second and 1 for a third. 4 laps, remember. And there's the lineup. On the inside, American champion Rick Miller in the red helmet. Andy Smith in blue, he's from Swindon and Great Britain. Todd Wiltshire, the flying Australian Reading, in the white helmet. And the reigning British champion Gary Havelock, he'll be on the outside in the black checkered helmet. And here at Bradford, the outside grids are certainly normally favoured early on. The track has been beautifully prepared by Eric Boothroyd. If anything, perhaps just a little too well prepared, because it looks just a little bit on the slick side, but we'll watch from the outside. Traditionally, these are the advantageous starts at Bradford, certainly early on. There's the lineup. Miller on the inside, Smith in blue, Wiltshire in white. He normally starts very quickly. And on the outside, Gary Havelock on his home track, the reigning British champion. So 2 national champions, the American Miller, and from the outside, Havelock seems to have the drop there. Wiltshire is in the middle, and here comes Andy Smith in the blue helmet around the inside. And that was a very tight first corner. It was Havelock who first showed, but a bold piece of riding there from Andy Smith, and here comes Havelock around the outside of Wiltshire, and the action is stirring right from the first tapes rising. It's Smith who leads it. Second place, it is Havelock. Third place, it is Wiltshire. The rain just drizzling down, a necklace of moisture. And at the back, Rick Miller, the American champion, and he, there he is, there you can see, right at the back. In fact, that's the leaders, that's Smith and Havelock. Just got a glimpse of Miller going through there, who beat Ermolenko in the American final. We referenced to that in our interview at the top of the show. Into the last lap now, still Smith, a Yorkshireman, now riding with Swindon. Second place is Havelock, making him work hard. Third place is Wiltshire. That's a little bit of a surprise. He normally rides better than that around Odsall. Over the line, it's going to be Andy Smith with 3 points. 2 points for Havelock, 1 for Todd Wiltshire. And Miller at the back, and there is Andy Smith, and he'll be happy with that start. Heat number 2, there's the lineup. Lee Adams on the inside, then Joe Screen, the youngest rider in the championship at 18. Sam Ermolenko, the Miracle Man American, on the outside. Kelly Moran, who rode way back in 1981 in this final, so he's by far the most experienced campaigner. Heat number 2. Watch for Ermolenko. There he goes in grid 3, a flying start, and here comes Moran around the outside, and it certainly does look as though the outside grids are worth about a 5-10 yard start. At the back there, it's Lee Adams in red, and in third place Joe Screen, but it's the Americans who are carving up heat number 2. 4 laps to a race, we remind you. It's what, 338 metres around the Odsall Stadium, Bradford. The machines are 500cc, capable of acceleration very swiftly from 0 to 60 in something like 3 seconds. This is Ermolenko, formerly in the rostrum in the World Championship. He's had a really bad run of injuries. He broke his leg in 12 places just a year or so back, and it really is a miracle the guy's riding at all. There's Kelly Moran. He's had a lot of injuries as well. He says he's broken 52 bones during his career. These guys really are almost superhuman. Ermolenko with ease. That's ominous for the rest of the field. He wins heat 2. Second place is Moran. Third place is Joe Screen, and Lee Adams, young Australian, at the back. And the Americans celebrate. Coming into heat 3, Kelvin Tatum there. He'll be in blue, one of the favourites, the England captain, who's had his disappointments in the World Championship in the past, but over some injuries there. His lineup, Paul Thorpe on the inside in red, then Tatum in white there, Glenn Doyle from Perth in Australia, but he rides here at Bradford, knows the track, and on the outside, Jeremy Doncaster, who won the Commonwealth title at King's Lynn just a couple of weeks ago. Heat number 3 coming up. And oh, it's Tatum, and it is Doncaster, the two experienced Brits who are away. Tatum in the blue helmet, Doncaster in yellow and black, and Tatum pulls clear out of the second turn. Third place, it is Doyle, and Thorpe at the back. Well, Kelvin Tatum, former public school boy, there's Doncaster, who's a bit of a rustic lad from East Anglia. All types and varieties of characters in British Speedway. But Tatum is looking good. Third place there, just coming into the picture, is Doyle. And Paul Thorpe, who pulled himself out of a sick bed with a virus at the back and looking uncomfortable and off the pace. Battle for second place here. Doncaster is a wily old campaigner, seems to know exactly where Doyle here in third place is going to make his attack. Meanwhile, up front, it is Tatum, and Tatum is travelling smoothly and quickly. Battle for the minor positions, we'll see Tatum over the line. He takes heat number 3 most comfortably, and he is looking very good. And when he's looking good, he's dangerous. Coming into heat 4 as all 16 finalists complete their first ride. Mitch Shearer from New Zealand in red, Neil Collins from Bellevue, Manchester, he's in blue helmet, Ronnie Corrie in white, and on the outside Billy Hamill, another of these bright young American stars who have given so much to British racing. Look at that start, and it's the Americans again. They look absolutely razor sharp out of the starting gate. It's Hamill and Corrie in the white helmet. They're the two Americans. In third place it is Shearer and Neil Collins. It's being really a good day for the Brits apart from Tatum thus far, as the Americans and young Hamill rides for Cradley Heath in the Black Country, followed by another Midlander, a Midland base rider anyway, Ronnie Corrie. And these two little Americans are way ahead in heat number 4. There is Mitch Shearer, seems to be losing his helmet covering, and incidentally, if he does lose it, that entails a fine, but he won't be thinking about that at this moment, and neither will the Americans, because they are looking very much in command of this overseas final so far. We saw Ermolenko and Moran, and this is the first time, of course, the Americans have been in the World Championship of 1991 in Europe, and it looks as though they're going to make their mark. Hamill wins it impressively. Second place is Corrie. Third place in red, Shearer. Once again, it was the outside grids that were by far the most advantageous at the start. Well, there's a lovely picture. Speedway's a family sport, and there's two young fans really enjoying themselves.
Ronnie Corrie, second place, first time out, but we noticed you're going to make some changes. Are you going to ride another machine?
Yeah, I think I'm another one. Didn't seem to be pulling those straightaways a bit, you know, and I think I can need a little bit more speed, so I'm going to try the other one and see if it goes a little bit better.
Well, you seem to make a fairly quick start in that one, but Billy Hamill was pulling away from you.
Yeah, he pulled a little bit. He was trying a bit of a wider line than I was. He had that little bit of the outside on me, you know. I should have came up a bit more, but that's the way it goes. I'm happy with second. Just keep going now.
Well, you can see conditions deteriorating here, and it would be a great shame if the rain came in too heavily to affect the track. At the moment, it's, well, still very much raceable and rideable. All the riders have now had one match in the overseas final, and you're looking at one of the race winners, Billy Hamill. He is there in red, coming for heat number 5, and there's one of his opponents under the brolly, Glenn Doyle from Australia. Hamill, 13. I wonder if it could be lucky for him. Lee Adams there, he'll be in white from Australia. Rides with Swindon down there in the West Country, in this country. And he'll be in white, and he has no score, so he'll be looking for points. Rick Miller, the very charismatic American champion in blue, he rides for Coventry in the Midlands, long-established success centre, and he'll be looking for points as well. So Hamill here is the man they'll really be aiming at. He had a race win first time out, and the other three can only manage 1 point between them. There's the lineup, Hamill in red, inside grid. Hasn't been a good grid at all, red. Second grid in blue is Rick Miller. Lee Adams is in white, and in the yellow and black helmet colour it is Glenn Doyle from Western Australia, but a local Bradford rider here in Yorkshire. Heat number 5. The referee's a Hungarian. He's the man who'll get them off the mark, and they're under his orders right now. And that is the start, and Hamill has got away from the inside, and he's the first rider who's done that, and Doyle is challenging him around the outside, and is absolutely shoulder to shoulder. Doyle it is who just gets clear. That outside line really is the best one. Doyle leads it. Second place it is Hamill, and in third place it is the rider in white. We're just got a good hit of it. Is Lee Adams just whipping down his visors. So heat number 5, and there is Hamill.
First time he was taken cleanly around the outside
by Glenn Doyle, and Doyle will be happy about this. Rick Miller, well, the American champion is struggling. He rode this track last year in the World Final, had a very impressive World Final debut. Not so happy today. Remember, 9 riders go through to the 2 semi-finals in West Germany, or Germany as it is now, United Germany, and the Soviet Union for the first time. We have a major World Championship event in Russia. And Doyle looks at this moment as though he'll be going to one of them. Over the line, 3 points for the Aussie. Second place was Hamill, so he'll be reasonably content with that. Third place in white, Lee Adams opens his account. There's the winner, Glenn Doyle. Heat number 6, Neil Collins on the bogey inside here in the red, the pole position. Next to him, Paul Thorpe. He needs points. A duck first time out, and Thorpe was reckoned to be one of the certainties to qualify. There is Andy Smith, race winner, first time out in Heat 1. We saw him, and on the outside there, Sudden Sam Ermolenko, the bionic man from California, on the outside. And look, you can see the way he's putting that wheel. He knows that you get a really jet-propelled start up to the first corner from grid 4. And there's the lineup. Inside, Collins. Next to him, blue helmet, Thorpe. White, grid 3, Andy Smith. So 3 Brits in against Sam Ermolenko in the yellow and black checkered helmet on the wide outside. Heat number 6. Collins and Thorpe are both looking to open their account. Ermolenko won his first run. Here's Heat 6. Oh, Ermolenko's made a flyer. What a start from the American. He really made the storybook start. He's in front. Second place now, it is Andy Smith. In third place, it is Paul Thorpe in blue. But the American, Sam Ermolenko, Sudden Sam, well, he really is dominating this meeting thus far. He won his first ride at the canter. He made the most beautiful of starts. It really was straight wham, bam. Thank you, Sam, up to the first corner. And he's in front in Heat 6, and it's going to take a mighty, mighty powerful guy to catch him. Andy Smith in second place here is beginning to close the gap a little, perhaps. But Ermolenko has seen it before. He's been in the big meetings. He's got the ideal temperament. He's a very, very track-crafty campaigner, and he seems to be comfortably containing Smith, although, bless his heart, little Smithy, Foxy as they call him, won't give up the gun until the checkered flag. Ermolenko wins it, still unbeaten. Second place is Smith. In third place, Paul Thorpe opens his account. Still no score for Neil Collins. Well, here's Ermolenko, and we wonder who is going to beat him here at Bradford today. Heat number 7, well, we were contemplating who could beat Ermolenko. It might be this guy. Kelvin Tatum on the inside, next to him Mitch Shearer in blue. Joe Screen, we'll just get a glimpse of him in a moment as we move across. There's Joe Screen, the 18-year-old babe of the party. He's in white, and Todd Wiltshire on the outside. Now Wiltshire normally is a real flying machine out of the starts, and he's on the outside, which has been a blessing to most people. Let's see what he makes of this, and that. Watch for Tatum on the inside. Away they go, and it is Wiltshire away. Wiltshire leads it. Second place, it is Tatum, but attacking him hard now comes Joe Screen around the outside. Oof, it's very tight there. And Tatum seems to get locked into the curb a bit there as Wiltshire leads it. The crowd's getting on their feet. Yes, it is Screen, and the message is absolutely clear here. You've got to get out where the dirt is. You've got to get out middle and high, certainly around the first turn, because if you get pinned in to the inside, well, you lose an awful lot of ground. And Kelvin Tatum, reckoned to be perhaps the favourite for the meeting by many, is now behind Wiltshire. Much happier ride for the Aussie from Bankstown in New South Wales, and Joe Screen beating Kelvin Tatum as England's skipper. There is Joe Screen, and this youngster does put himself about. He doesn't start that quickly, but he makes his presence felt, and Tatum is going to drop points here, barring a miracle, moving hard down the inside, but you can see there's just no drive at all. Wiltshire wins heat 7. Second place is Screen. He'll be happy with that. Tatum drops points, but he kept his head and takes 1 point, and Wiltshire will be much happier now. That's 4 points from 2, and he's looking quite comfortable. Well, they do have glamorous start marshals here at Bradford. It has to be said, the Yorkshire Club make an effort for presentation, and it does show. Heat number 8 coming up. Let's have a look at the lineup. Gary Havelock has a second place, 2 points to his credit. Then Kelly Moran, he was second first time out. Jeremy Doncaster, he too has 2 points, and you've got it. Ronnie Corrie on the outside, a second place. So all four at the moment will be reasonably happy with their opening ride, but we're looking for points here. Heat number 8, Havelock, Moran, Doncaster, Corrie from the inside. And again, the outside grids. Just look at the start there. It is Corrie and it is Doncaster away, and they were a bike length clear as Havelock bursts into second place. He's in second place. Third place now Doncaster, but up front it is Ronnie Corrie, and the Americans are thoroughly enjoying the Yorkshire air here in this overseas final. Here comes Kelly Moran up there in the blue helmet, and Doncaster has gone to the back. And look at Kelly Moran. Moran got a knock at the first corner, and it seems to have fired him up because he's going way out in the dirt, and the battle really here is for second place. Here's Havelock, and Moran wrote a beautiful piece of Speedway magic there. He got right out in the dirt, and maybe that's the lesson they should be learning, because Moran was at the back. He got an elbow at the first turn. It certainly seemed to inspire him. Up front by a mile is Ronnie Corrie, and it's the Americans who are beginning to snap their authority on this overseas final. He wins it. Second place Moran, done it the hard way from the back. Third place was Havelock in heat number 8. And it's America's day so far. Well, there's Jeremy Doncaster, and he's an unhappy man. The machine gave up the ghost, and he needs points now.
Todd Wiltshire, much better second time round for you. What happened in your first race?
That's pretty typical of me, really. A few nerves start of the meeting. Most of the matches I have this year, I've been going pretty slow in heat 1, but I was a bit nervous, but I relaxed a bit more then, and we had a result.
Well, this is the scene of your greatest triumph, as they say. You got under rostrum here in last year's World Final, so you obviously know how to ride the place.
Yeah, you know, it's much easier when you got a bit of fresh air, but I'm going to be trying today, and once again, I want to burn that rostrum if I can.
Well, there's the leaderboard after 2 rides apiece. Ermolenko in front. Look at the Americans. Billy Hamill's in second place, jointly with Ronnie Corrie. Then Andy Smith also on second place, and Wiltshire and Moran on 4 apiece. And coming further down the leaderboard, we can see Glenn Doyle has 4 from Australia. Kelvin Tatum, he too has 4 points, so very much still in the shout. And in joint 9th place, and remember 9 qualify, we have the English whiz kids Gary Havelock and Joe Screen both on
3. A long way to go yet.
Heat number 9, and something's got to give here because we've got Sam Ermolenko, he's on the inside, and Kelvin Tatum, the anti-post favourites for this particular title. They meet here in heat 9. It could be very much a case of who has the more advantageous start, and it is Kelvin Tatum. He's on the outside, and that has been a definite advantage. Let's look at the lineup. Ermolenko on the inside, next to him Ronnie Corrie. Well, he's got 5 points. Then Rick Miller in white, on the outside Tatum. The start will be quick, and it is Tatum who is away, and Tatum charges straight across. Ermolenko's in second place, but that inside grid is giving nothing at the moment. Tatum leads it. Second place, it is Ermolenko. In third place, it is Rick Miller. And Corrie, Ronnie Corrie, who had 5 points and must have been fancying his chances at the back. And Tatum will be enjoying this. The American, and there he is. He's just got a glimpse of him there. He was unbeaten, but Kelvin Tatum, England's number 1, is really showing them all the way home here. Made the start, got the line, had the power, had the nerve, and the battle is joined at the back between Corrie and Miller. There it is. Miller holds the line at the moment, and Ronnie Corrie is looking as though he might threaten him. There's the leader, Calvin Tatum, 30,000 winter transferee from Coventry to Little Berwick, where he has helped to transform the border club. He wins heat number 9, and that will really be a big moment for him. Beating Samir Malenko brings Tatum right back into the picture. You can see how pleased he is about that one. Heat 10, Jeremy Doncaster had an engine seizure last time out. He needs points. Denley Adams with just 1 point. Mitch Shearer, who won this crown back in 1987, he's in white. Look at him. There's little Mitch. And on the outside, Andy Smith, who has a win and a second place. So again, Foxy here is in with a chance of the crown. Heat number 10. And who is it that will show? It is Smith again from that grid 4. Second place is Doncaster. In third place it is Adams at the moment, but Shearer is making his move down the inside here of heat number 10. Smith away, and he really has got a fighting street fighter style, this little character. Just look at him go, looking around, looking to see where the danger's coming from. At the moment, Doncaster is in second place, and Mitch Shearer has moved into third place, taking Lee Adams, just using all his knowledge and track.
To get by.
You can see that Smith knows exactly the line to ride. He is in fact a former Bradford rider. In fact, it has to be whispered, they rejected him during the winter, and it took him some time to find the British club before Swindon stepped in. But he certainly knows the best line around Odsall. Doncaster just under some threats from Shearer back in third place. You can see Shearer trying the outside run now, but that's the finish, and Smith has won it looking back. So he's now on 8 points, and he may well be a surprise winner of this title. We're passing the halfway stage now. This is heat 11, Kelly Moran, 4 points. Then we have Glenn Doyle, who has 4, Wiltshire has 4, he's in white, and Neil Collins from the outside has no score. Now we have been rather going on about how good the outside grid is, and there's Neil Collins. He hasn't scored yet. Let's just see if he can gain anything at all from the outside grid here at heat 11. Even break. It looks like Wiltshire's away. Wiltshire in white is away. Here comes Colin around the outside. Off and Moran, or was it Doyle? It was Doyle who came straight across and took Todd Wiltshire. And that really discomforted the young Australian in front. It allowed Collins to get clear. Doyle is second under some threat from Moran, and Kelly Moran's moved up into second place, and Wiltshire, who made the start, was certainly taken off his course by his compatriot Australian Glenn Doyle, and is having to really work hard now to get back under Kelly Moran. There's the battle at the back, and Moran's on the outside, and that has proved far and away the most profitable line. Collins, well, that yellow helmet really is golden here at Odsall. He's going to open his account, and it looks like Wiltshire is going to be lucky to pick anything up at all. Kelly Moran over the line, and Doyle's bike seemed to be slowing and right on the line. Wiltshire got up for the odd point. It was won by Collins. Second place was Moran, and Wiltshire just stole the third place point, and maybe that's justice because he was knocked around by Glenn Doyle. Heat number 12 coming into picture. Billy Hamill in red, Gary Havelock in blue, Paul Thorpe, who need points, he only has 1. And on the outside, Joe Screen in yellow and black. So Hamill has 5, Havelock has 3 here. Paul Thorpe will need to start getting his act together because he only has 1 and must get something from heat number 12. And Joe Screen has 3, has been Teddy that could do with a race win. Heat 12. Oh, that's a flyer, and it's Thorpe who just has the drop around the outside. On the inside, Hamill has done well, and Hamill falls clear, but Thorpe will attack him around the outside, and that is where the drive is, and there is case in point. Thorpe it is who leads. Second place is Hamill. Third place it is Screen. And at the back it's Havelock, and that is causing more than a ripple on the terraces. There's Havelock trying to get back into contention, but he missed out completely on the first lap, and he has a great deal of work to do now. Paul Thorpe, who again rides at Bradford, so is very familiar with the Odsal Shell. Second place, it is Hamill, most impressive in this overseas final. Third place, it is Screen, and Havelock is getting nowhere. He's working hard, bless his heart, but he's getting nowhere. He's going right out wide here. But Thorpe is in control of Heat 12. Thorpe takes the flag, and he needed that win. Second place, it is Hamill. Third place, it is Joe Screen, and the British champion Havelock finishes last and is in trouble. There's the winner, and he is a good deal happier with life.
Callum Moran, Mr. Consistency around here today. 6 points from 3 starts. Happy with the way things are going?
Yeah, I'd just like to get a first out of all this. I get tired of getting all the bead blasted in the back, you know. But things are going pretty well. The bikes are running really well. Mine have let me down just as of recently, so Sean offered to loan me his, and as you can see, they're going pretty well, and especially taking like the likes of Gary Havelock from the back on his home track. You don't normally see that done very often around here. So we're quite happy.
All the Americans are doing fairly well, although Rick Miller struggling somewhat. Is this track suited to the American riders today?
I think it's suited to everybody. I mean, it's in excellent condition considering the forecast and all the rain we've had up here in Yorkshire as of lately. But I think mainly it's just getting out of the start. Having said that, people say, oh yeah, but you were overtaken from the back and that. Well, sometimes it's just your day and other days it's not, you know. I think unfortunately Ricky just not getting out of the start, and that's where it's hurting him.
One or two of the riders saying that although the track looks like it's got some dirt, it is fairly slick out there.
Yes, it is. It's got like a bunch of like crushed up house brick, like stuff. So if you see the dirt, you hit it, all you do is spin up. And a lot of the guys aren't really, when they get the grooves at the starting gate, they're not kicking out the rocks. Because first you got to burn through the rocks before you hit the solid ground, then take off. And obviously when you get in the back here, when you get hit with that shale, it really pulls you back, knocks you about 8 miles, 10 miles an hour off your top speed, you know. But I think it's suited just about for everybody.
And so, with 3 starts completed, here is the leaderboard. Jointly in the lead, Sam Ermolenko and Andy Smith on 8 points. Billy Hamill and Kelvin Tate still in touch on 7. Kelly Moran there articulately talking to our interviewer on 6, and Todd Wiltshire on 5. And looking just a little further down the list. There we go. Also Ronnie Curry on 5. Glenn Doyle in joint 8th place. Remember, 9 go through. He's on 4. Joe Screen is on 4. Paul Thorpe getting back into touch on 4. And Jeremy Doncaster on 4 points. So 3 Brits and an Australian battling for the 2.
Robbinsfield interval stage, you really have to win your next 2 races.
Yeah, definitely. Just got to get my head down and make the start. It's so important on the start here. But hopefully I can just put a couple of starts together. Just be very determined, and we'll just see how we go from there.
Watching you race, you seem to be lacking power coming out of the corners.
No, I don't. No, I don't think my bike's feel good. It's just not making the start, and it's just so very hard. Everyone's going so very quick. You're just pulling different lines here and there, and just not happening. But it's just one of those things, really.
Well, since the track started to dry out, the racing's improved. It's getting a little bit wild down there now.
Yeah, it is. The first corner's getting a little bit harder, which it's a lot of gates have been coming from the outside. Gate 4, you've probably noticed. So I've got Gate 4 in my next one, so hopefully we can just put it together.
Well, the Warriors prepare. There is Joe Screen, and that's Bruce Cribb, an old campaigner, former ice racer, rode at Poole and Cradley. New Zealander giving him some advice. Neil Collins, who revived his hopes with a race win last time out. Here we're looking to re-entrench here. Here's the lineup for Heat 13. Joe Screen on the dreaded inside, where we still haven't had a race winner. He's in red. Next to him, Jeremy Doncaster with 4 points. And the donkey will be looking for a thoroughbred show here. He could do with some points, make sure of a qualification place. Collins will be looking to maintain his revival.
Will be looking for anything on the outside as one so far, but he is in that very
helpful outside grid here at 13. And off they go. It's a very even break, and it's Doncaster whose experience pulls him clear. Here comes around the outside in 3rd place. It is Joe Screen as they level off down the back straight. Doncaster leads it. 2nd place, it is Miller. Third place, Screen coming bursting through the inside, but Miller holding the high ground and making it pay. They each have 5 starts. This is the start of their 4th round in effect, and Neil Collins doesn't seem to be able to maintain that impetus he gained last time, and he's at the back here, though he's very much in touch. And you can see they are getting rather filled in with dirt. Not this man, he's out in front, and there's an old adage in Speedway, you don't get dirty when you're leading. And Jeremy Doncaster doing enough here surely to make sure of qualification as Miller revives his hopes here if he can hold on to this 2nd place as they all bunch up at the back. Joe Screen, as always, in the red helmet, making himself very handy, but no catching Jeremy Doncaster, who wins heat 13 and will be feeling much more relieved, because with what now 7 points, he should be okay and clear for a semi-final place. Coming into heat 14, and this could be a bundle of fun as well. On the inside, Andy Smith has a total of 8 points. Billy Hamill has 7 in the blue helmet in grid 2. Kelly Moran has been very consistent on 6 points, 3 second places, and Kelvin Tatum again on the outside, and he is a really accomplished starter and will surely come screaming out of grid 4 here. Yes, he has. Look at that start, and he'll go straight across them and give them nowhere to go. Tatum leads it. 2nd place, it is Billy Hamill. 3rd place, it is Moran, and at the back it is Smith, and that's a bit of a surprise because Andy Smith has been very consistent and very quick. Battle for 2nd place. Moran getting filled in there. You can see they're desperately trying to pull down the visors over his face mask to give himself more visibility. He is getting tight at the back there. Hamill giving Moran nowhere to go as Moran tries to profit from the outside run again. And it's Kelvin Tatum up front for England, and he has been really the one guy who has got amongst these points-hungry Americans. And he is winning by a long way. He's a long way clear, Kelvin Tatum. He's been going very quickly as they go over the line. Tatum wins it, and 2nd place it is Hamill, and 3rd place it is Moran. But Kelvin Tatum beginning to shape up as a likely winner now. Number 15, there is Paul Thorpe, whose fortunes were revived by a race win in his last outing. And it's an interesting mix here because we have Ronnie Corrie with 5 points, and then Todd Wiltshire in blue with 5, Paul Thorpe with 4, and Lee Adams desperately needing something from heat number 15, only 1 point. A contrast in styles and fortunes here in heat 15. Corrie and Wiltshire looking fairly well set. Thorpe is coming back into things, and Adams desperately needs to make the outside grid pay for him here in heat number 15. He's really got to get 2 race wins from his last 2 rides to have any real hope of qualification. Heat number 15. It's an even break, and on the inside, Corrie seems to be away, so too is Thorpe, and Adam on the outside in yellow and black, and Wiltshire is creeping round into 3rd place, but it is Corrie and Thorpe is back where the dirt is, and Thorpe is making it pay. Paul Thorpe rode a beautifully controlled, measured first lap there, and he leads heat 15. 2nd place is Corrie, and the battle developing between the 2 Australians for the odd point. There's Thorpe, and he's an exciting stylist. Gets motoring, likes to get down to reduce the wind resistance. See there, and he picked his moment beautifully here in heat number 15. 2nd place is Ronnie Corrie, and Adams and Wiltshire battling for the pickings here at the back as we watch the smooth style, and 3 points gathered by Paul Thorpe in white. 2nd place in red it was Corrie. Adams just got up to take a point from Wiltshire, so the Australians are really struggling a bit as Thorpe makes ground and scores points. Heat number 16, and we have again an interesting mix. Glenn Doyle has 4 points and needs something from heat number 16. Sam Ermolenko has 8. Gary Havelock desperately needs something here on 3, and Mitch Shearer has just 2, and he too must produce a miracle in heat 16. Look, and Havelock really made a terrible start there as Ermolenko gets away. Coming hard after him, it's Mitch Shearer. Havelock coming storming back into the picture there as we saw, and at the back it is Glenn Doyle. So Ermolenko cruising, one might say. Shearer is second. In third place it is Doyle, and Havelock is at the back, and that is really heartbreaking for the British champion, because he really must score something here in heat 16. And Shearer moves up to challenge Ermolenko. These are two wily old campaigners, and Shearer switching back down the inside. Oh, that was beautiful. He made to go around the outside. Ermolenko moved across to try and cover him, and quick as a flash, Shearer switched direction and attacked him down the inside, and that really was a pinpoint piece of overtaking Shearer, and he needed these points, remember. And so the little New Zealander on Redding's books is going to win heat 16. Ermolenko is second. In third place it was Doyle, and although they're talking about Shearer, the main buzz is about Havelock, as it looks like his World Championship trail is over with that last place. But Shearer has come right back in with a chance of qualification. Currently is sweating through a ban in British Speedway, and knows that a world champion for the final place would be a great enhancement to his chances of a British League berth he so loves and wishes next year. And they're welcoming him back into the pits. They're just cooling the clutch. There's Michael Lee, a glimpse of him, former world champion, saying well done. And Shearer back with a chance, and across comes Ronnie Corrie to say well done. Let's have a look at the state of play with each of the riders having one ride left. Ermolenko and Tatum are jointly in front with 10 points. Billy Hamill on 9, Andy Smith on 8, Kelly Moran and Paul Thorpe on 7 each, and all of those guys really look assured of qualification for the semi-finals in Germany and the USSR in August. But it's down here where the battle's going to be. Ronnie Corrie on 7, Jeremy Doncaster on 7 should be safe. But Glenn Doyle, Joe Screen, Todd Wiltshire and Mitch must all battle for that final qualification place, and that's where the action is going to be in the last round coming right up. Coming in for heat 17, the last chance for each of the 16 contestants to make a mark on the overseas final of the 1991 World Speedway Championship. Heat number 17, there's the lineup. Rick Miller, well, only a race win can give him any hope at all. He's on the dreaded inside. Next to him, Kelly Moran has 7 points, should be okay. Mitch Shearer, again, needs a second or a win to really enrich his hopes, and Paul Thorpe on the outside should be okay, but he's suddenly come to life and has looked very smart indeed, and is away again there, and has time to glance inwards, and he knows he's got the drop here in heat 17. Thorpe is away. Second place, it is in white there, Mitch Shearer. Third place is Miller, and at the back it's Kelly Moran, who missed the start, and we heard him earlier saying that the surface he wasn't too comfortable with. We're wondering if he can make ground here as Paul Thorpe, this Mancunian, who has ridden in a variety of places, some old unfashionable places like Workington and until this year Berwick, but he came to life at Stoke a couple of 3 years back, and his career has prospered ever since. Has ridden with Bellevue and is now with Bradford, and is looking very comfortable. He had no score first time out, and he was riddled with flu just 24 hours ago. He seems to have grown in strength and stature as the meeting has unfolded. He's going really as quick as anybody now. Over the line, he wins it. Second place is Shearer, that might just be enough. Third place is Rick Miller, well, he's out. And Moran, surprisingly at the back, must now sweat and see if 7 points is sufficient to gain him a semi-final berth. Well, here's heat 18, and Glenn Doyle has 5, needs points. Andy Smith should be safe. Joe Screen has 5, he needs points. And Ronnie Corrie on 7, so it's only really Smith here that can be feeling confident of making progress, although Corrie should be okay. Doyle and Screen really need something from heat number 18. 9 to qualify, remember. 7 points should be the cut. Heat 18. Let's a fire from the outside from Corrie, and coming hard under him. It is Andy Smith, and Andy Smith getting quickly out to middle and outside and leaving Corrie a very, very difficult run down the back straight. And Andy Smith ruthless there around the first two turns. Here comes Corrie after him. Third place, it is Doyle, and Doyle will be looking for more than this. And here he comes trying the outside line. And has he got into second place? No, he has not. Still, it is Smith leading it. Gutsy performance, typically from Foxy Smith. Second place, it is Corrie. Little fella, very spectacular, as Doyle, who knows that an extra point here could be critical to his chances. Doyle unlucky, has to be said, with an engine seizure when short of 1 point in an earlier ride. And Joe Screen, sadly at the back, the baby moving through here. Some baby. But it looks like his World Championship dream is over for 1991. Smith will win it. Good overseas final performance from Andy Smith. Second place was Ronnie Corrie. He'll go through, but Doyle really must sweat. He has finished on 6 points, and Joe Screen is OUT, sadly, but he's young enough to come again. Coming into heat 19, and Billy Hamill can put pressure on the leading two here. He has 9 points. Ermolenko and Tatum have 10, so a race win here. Hamill will really set the standard. And there's Mitch Shearer on the left, a wily old New Zealand campaigner, just going across and whisper, keep cool, do your work, stay steady. Heat number 19 then, and Todd Wiltshire on the inside, surprisingly, one of the favourites perhaps for this title. Really needs points, and he's in the graveyard pole position. We haven't had a race winner in red yet. Then Jeremy Doncaster. In white there is Billy Hamill, and on the outside it is Sam Ermolenko.
The Americans, so the two Americans,
remember Ermolenko has 10 and Hamill has 9 and Tatum has 10. Those are the leaders, so an awful lot at stake here in heat number 19. Wiltshire needing points, and the Americans looking to battle out for who is the overall winner. And up to the first corner, it is Hamill. Wiltshire being tackled around the outside by Ermolenko. Once again, Wiltshire got trapped on the curb, and the Americans found the better line. Hamill leads, and Ermolenko's in second place. Now, if it stays this way, it would mean that the Americans, Hamill and Ermolenko, flashing fast our cameras there, would both finish on 12 points, and it would mean that in heat number 20, Kelvin Tatum, the last one, just would need a race win to clinch the title. They're all going to go through. Wiltshire desperately trying to gain something here because he knows that 7 points really is the mark, and he looks like he's going to get 1 point here, although Jeremy Doncaster is sending him just out of our picture. There are the leaders. Hamill showing his more experienced fellow countryman the way home. Third place, just a glimpse of his red helmet there, was Wiltshire. Over the line, Hamill wins it, celebrates with a wheelie. Second place, it is Ermolenko. Third, just holding on, is Wiltshire. There's the winner, and now we know that Hamill and Ermolenko will finish on 12 points, and right now as we come in to heat 20, everybody knows the equation, and that is that Kelvin Tatum there just coming up in white, and again one of the more favoured outside grids. If he wins this one, he is the new overseas champion. He's never won this title. There's the lineup. Lee Adams is out, Neil Collins is out, Kelvin Tatum really just needs the win here, and Gary Havelock, although they probably know that a win here might just get them in with a shade of a reserve berth, but it's Tatum all eyes are on, and Tatum has got the run around the outside of the rider in red, and that is Lee Adams, and now it really looks as though, barring some kind of mechanical disaster, that Kelvin Tatum here is going to be the overseas champion. There is Gary Havelock, and it has really been a heartbreaking afternoon for the young man as he challenges hard after Lee Adams. Lee Adams, the Australian, won't be too happy either, but this guy will be celebrating. Kelvin Tatum, 27 years old, family man these days, has a younger brother, Neville, who sits by his side in the pits and just whispers in his ear. And whatever he's been saying is working now. There is Lee Adams, whose World Championship dream ends after this race. But Tatum is going to go forward to the semis as the overseas champion, as the ride here at Odsall carry him over the line in heat number 20. Kelvin Tatum wins and is the overseas Speedway Riders champion for 1991. and English fans will be hoping he can repeat this form in the semis and in the final in Gothenburg. It's a long time, back in 1980, since we had a world champion, and this guy perhaps carries our best hopes in 1991. Kelvin Tatum, overseas champion, 1991, and getting a really appreciative reception from the crowd. He only dropped points once when he was on the inside. The outside gates, that's going to be a talking point in British Speedway. 11 race wins from the outside. And we're coming in now for the runoff for the reserve position between the two Australians. Todd Wiltshire will wear red helmet, but will start on the outside. They toss for gate positions in a two-man runoff. This is for the reserve berth. Glenn Doyle in white on the inside, but Wiltshire very sensibly chose the wide outside because he knows that's worth about a 5-yard start in these conditions. The runoff for reserve berth, the two Australians. There won't be a lot of love lost between them because Doyle moved Wiltshire over when they met, and that may well have put him out of chip. Wiltshire away, and his 22-year-old doesn't normally make mistakes when he's in front, and of course he will know that it's important to be a reserve, because if anything happens to the 9 qualifiers we have just seen go through before the semi-finals, then he has a backdoor entrance into the World Championship semis. And it has happened before. In fact, one of his fellow countrymen, Troy Butler, in 1989 was reserved 3 times and actually got to the world final. Dangerous old business speed where these guys do tend to knock themselves about a bit. Doyle hasn't finished yet, switching out to the outside. Wiltshire is cornering as on rails, looking across, and he knows where Doyle is going to hit him bomb. He just moves him out there ever so gently, going over the line. Well, some small consolation for Wiltshire, world number 3 last year. He's still hanging on to the World Championship by his fingertips at the moment. And now, well, the American Civil War. The battle for second place between Samuel Malenko, the old fox, and Billy Hamill, the young cub. And he'll be in white, and Ermolenko will be on the inside in red. Now, when met in the meeting proper, it was Hamill who prevailed, but Ermolenko is a tough old customer and a very, very clever tactician. Here we go for heat number 20. Ermolenko's track craft experience should carry him here, even though he's on the inside. And he's away, and it's going to be interesting to see if young Master Hamill can find a way through now. Hamill trying the outside run here. Now switching back, and trying again. It was a feint. Ermolenko is aware of him, looks across, says no room there, son. So Hamill trying the inside. The rain is beginning to really sweep across Yorkshire. It's Wuthering Heights weather at the moment. But it's a storybook ride from Sam Ermolenko, pulling away now. He counted every move of his young rival. Really, it was a little cameo, this one. Now Ermolenko says, well, I'm not going to wait along any longer. I'm going to go for it. Right out with the dirt, as you can see, he's driving perfectly. And Ermolenko is second in the overseas final. Hamill, a brilliant meeting though, has nothing to worry about being beaten by a master craftsman like Sam Ermolenko. Some beautiful track crafty moves there. There really was a lesson for the young man from Sam Ermolenko.
Kelvin Tatum, congratulations, overseas champion.
That's right, feels good. I've had a good meeting, I've rode well, and my bikes have gone good, so really chuffed, really chuffed.
As always with these meetings, it got very tight towards the end. We've had some interesting racing in the latter part of the meeting.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lineup today, and you know, I was just coming just to qualify, but it's just shows you how competitive Speedway is now at the top. So many good guys, and really when you look at the lineup today, you couldn't say who was going to go out. So,
well, there's 1 or 2 shock riders going out. Looks like Lee Adams and Todd Wiltshire starters.
Yeah, you know, but that's how competitive it is. You know, guys that are world-class riders, have anything you're slightly off, you can go out. So I'm pleased that everything's clicked and I've ridden well.
Well, let's have a look at the final scores. The winner there, Kelvin Tatum, on 13 points, just 1 point clear of the Americans Sam Ermolenko and Billy Hamill, and Ermolenko we saw winning the runoff for second place. Andy Smith, that really was a prolific performance from him in 4th place on 11. Paul Thorpe on 10 came back very well in the latter stages. And Ronnie Corrie pretty steady throughout. He claims the 6th place on 9 points. So those are the leaders, but the real battle develops at the bottom end here with Jeremy Doncaster. Never really looked in serious danger of going out on 7. Mitch Shearer came back again to take 7 points and claim one of the final qualification places. And Kelly Moran, also the most experienced rider in the field, he goes through in the 9th qualification place. And perhaps the big surprise, and one of the surprises, Todd Wiltshire going forward as reserve. But here are the non-qualifiers, and here is where the heartbreak will be now. Glenn Doyle, unlucky, had a machine failure which cost him points. Joe Green, just not quite enough oomph. Lee Adams, Gary Havelock, there's the big blow. Really, the guy just couldn't put a wheel right today. Rick Miller on 4, Neil Collins just 1 race win. Their title hopes are over, but they've been noble competitors.